What's up, YouTube? Okay, if you had a channel on YouTube or just going out to a certain spot in your community to talk about your life, whether people wanted to hear about it or not, because people in the community, their names might be mentioned because they're a part of it. If they are seeking out where you're at because they hear that you're out in public talking about them and they come to where you're at, that is stalking you. Okay. This isn't them passing you by chance. This isn't them, you know, living their life in the community where they live and running into you. This is them deliberately coming to where you're at and trying to mess with whatever you're saying. Okay. When a street preacher is out talking about God and there's people that don't like him, they're allowed to walk up and disagree. But what they can't do is try and say that he's not allowed to say that, that he's breaking the law, that, he's being some type of, you know, aggressiveness towards the community when he's not. He has every right to be out there expressing his religion, his freedom of speech, and freedom of expression. Yes, even if they felt the urge to cuss, they can do that. It's a word, it is part of expression and speech. So, if you have a channel and they come to your channel, putting in comments, wanting to talk, running their mouth, trying to, you know, skew what you're saying, even though they have done the same thing and you have never went to their channel, you have never went to them and started talking on their channel, maybe on their comment on your post, but not on their channel. See, that channel would be like a home. So if you go to their home and start doing that, that is considered them stalking you. If you, I'm sorry, if they come to your home and do that, that is considered them stalking you. If you go to their home and start doing that, not in a public area, that would more along the lines be, could be considered stalking or, harassing. Just doing the same thing that they're doing online and out in public, as in, saying stuff about what happened in the encounters with each other. It doesn't, that's not legal or constitutional to act like one's allowed to do it, but the other one isn't. The only reason why I'm being nailed like I am is because what I'm saying is the truth. Do you really think they'd be trying this hard if it wasn't? No. They would have said what they wanted to say in the comments, laughed it off, and walked away. But they didn't do that. Why? Because they have to control their lie. Yep, this shows that they have been stalking and harassing for years, including targeting a child to turn into a robot. Any one of you, I challenge you, look up BPD and see what it says. They will deliberately destroy their own life and their partners. And if their partner is really good to them, they will do it even worse. one of the main things they go for is a child that they can manipulate, brainwash into going against the other partner. That way, they can sit back and enjoy the mayhem without having to do it. And that's exactly what's going on here in both scenarios. Uh, Allowing this to happen to these three children and her brother, did it get her attention? Yeah. Did it get her paid? Yeah. Did she get in any trouble? No. Did her mom, even though her mom was the one that did it? No. But anybody else would be in trouble. But these ones, nothing. Nobody finds that odd. Nobody finds that fitting with BPD. It's exactly what BPD is. They do that for attention, and they do not care what lives are lost, including their own. As in, if they set something up for attention and they didn't really think it out or plan it out right, and it ends up taking their life, they don't care. That's what I'm talking about. And seeing it on paper is way different than seeing it in real life. So that's exactly what's going on. Both scenarios. Well, BPD people try to target people that they can use. That means a good, sweet person, good heart, you know, likes to do things the right way. This is who they will target. Well, they feel it's more fun to try and tear that person apart. This is why, whenever I made a good bond with my children, they would get upset. This is why, anytime I did good with my business, they would secretly get upset. This is why, anytime I would do anything for them or think of them before myself, even though they'd smile and say thank you, they were pissed. I didn't fit the narrative that they were telling people. I didn't know that they were telling people that. I found out later. But yeah, I didn't fit the narrative that they were trying to make me, fall into without me noticing what they were saying. So they were basically trying to predict how I was going to act and then how they could call that abuse to other people. That way, when I went to work or come home or went driving with her, she could go to other people and be like, "See, did you see that? He made me sit in the passenger seat again. Did you see that? Okay, you're anemic. If you're getting beat up, where are your bruises? If you're being verbally abused, how come nobody hears it?" Oh yeah, we'd have back door, front door open, talking to our neighbors just before we would leave to go to places, and she'd hop in the passenger seat and we would go. So wouldn't the neighbors hear me doing all this? And I do have to watch it because the one neighbor she was sleeping with, it was a family that she was in that same development with when she was a child, just before she burnt down her townhome. Yeah, playing with a lighter under a bed. Anyway, or at least that's what I was told by her. Apparently, she was 4. But yeah, she knew this other family that had been in there their whole life and they still lived in there. Well, the kids had grown up, been adults and got their own places or own places with another girl. And that's what this particular person did. He got a girl pregnant. She ended up moving in to the unit next to us shortly after we moved in. Come to find out, it's one of her play pals, as I call them. And she had multiple. She had dudes that I have never met in my life, come and pick her up, tell me that it's a taxi. I've never seen a taxi pull up with three dudes in it and then get out and let you have the front seat. Never seen that in my life. Oh, yeah, I'm going to work. Never go to work, call out of work. So that was a lie. You weren't going to work. But of course, these people are the witnesses, but they were the ones sleeping with her. So you really think they're going to get on a stand and be like, yeah, I did that? No. Especially if she still gives them attention when her other husband doesn't know. And that is very possible because she'll use work and she doesn't care how good you treat her. A lot of, even I thought that. You treat them good, they won't do that. That's a lie. They will. Yeah. And supposedly, my younger son is all off of medicine. Really? So he witnessed his siblings die in a car accident and his uncle. He crawls over them, and that fixes his mental state, even though he didn't have a mental state where he needed medication until he went to school and started lying. But okay, it, it, it's all bullshit. Yeah, we had her mother pissed off because she wasn't allowed to see the kids, and that was Tiffany's doing. I agreed with it, of course, because her mother was crazy. And yeah, after we gave her time away from the kids and tried to get her to understand that you keep acting like this, you won't be around them. I was the one that, tried to get them to stop fighting and be mother and daughter, which was a mistake because every time that woman would, do the same thing. Basically, love bombing, doing everything right, saying all the right things, but never, ever having any want to actually do it that way. It was always doing it, setting up traps and trying to manipulate to, cause problems. And same thing she was doing before. And that's when I started telling Tiffany I don't want the kids around her. She's unstable. She tries to fill their head with stuff that they don't need to know. My son is 3 years old, coming to me talking to me about stuff Nana said to him. That what are you doing talking to my child like that? You are their grandmother. You don't get to do those things. You need to back off. Is exactly what me and her had a conversation about, and she didn't like that. You don't talk to my children about things that no child should be hearing. This is how I knew where a lot of the manipulation and stuff that Tiffany did came from. And it's because that woman taught her to do those things. How do I know that? Because it's the same way that woman ran her life. So she wouldn't have to work or barely work. So there you go. It is all BPD mixed with narcissism and manic episodes. Both of these girls. Well, you're the no, I'm not. BPD and women getting away with what they do is the common denominator. I mean, I've had this happen my whole life. Being in the wrong place at the wrong time, people doing all kinds of crazy shit. I'm the one that tries to get them to stop. Next thing you know, story comes out, oh, David was doing it all. What? I don't think so. Yeah, I'm always somebody's scapegoat. And I'm getting about tired of that. You had full control over the situation and you fumbled it. How the hell did I have anything to do with that? That what? I mean, that is clear. Not accepting accountability. Clearly, these women have control over these situations. I'm nowhere in the picture, but somehow it's my fault. What? Oh, it's because this was said or that was said. That's completely out of context. That had nothing to do with that situation. And some of those things were said over other situations, and they needed to be said. That's what I mean. They made it illegal for you to raise your kid. Now they make it seem illegal for a man to be a leader. Yeah, imagine that. I don't see why people listen to courts and all that anyway. They were the ones that set shit up like this to tear families apart. And then they allow women to get away with it for the most part. It's insane. And we watched them, all of them, on video. Every time they didn't get their way. Wah! Every time they got something they didn't deserve. Yeah. Really? Wow. Looks like these women are just like Eve. They can't get enough, even when they have everything. Wow.